behind that car," said the girl, jumping into the back seat of the car. "Are we playing spies?" the driver asked with a smile. "Yeah, something like that," replied Emily with a smile, though everything was sad on her heart. She didn't feel like following her own boyfriend at all, especially not the soon-to-be father of her child, but his behavior left her no choice. John had become withdrawn and taciturn lately. He was obviously tormented by something, but he was afraid to admit it to his girlfriend. "Your sweetheart parked at the flower stall." The cab driver's voice snapped the girl out of her thoughts. "Go. He's carrying a whole bouquet." He marveled. The girl's heart clenched with resentment and pain. So it's the other one after all. Now both of you will get it from me. The girl decided to herself, and having taken control of herself, calmly told the cab driver to continue following John's car. In her head, Emily was running through hundreds of scenarios, imagining how she would catch her beloved for cheating on her. Emily couldn't believe her eyes when she saw John embracing a strange woman in the parking lot. All her jealousy and anger evaporated, replaced by shock and confusion. "This is my sister Emma," John hastened to explain. "She came to town unexpectedly. I was going to tell you all about it." John introduced the girls and explained to Emily that he had a complicated relationship with his sister. After his parents died 5 years ago, they had a falling out over an inheritance and hadn't communicated in all that time. Emma had just gone through a difficult divorce and decided to visit her brother to patch things up. John didn't want to upset Emily and so kept her visit a secret. But now that the truth was out, he was happy to introduce the women dearest to him. After the explanation, Emily calmed down and even became friends with Emma. They began to spend time together often. And a couple months later, Emma introduced Emily to her childhood friend Sean, who was also recently divorced. Between Sean and Emily at first sight, there was a spark, which they tried not to think about because of loyalty to John. But the feelings proved to be stronger. Soon, Sean and Emily realized that they couldn't be without each other. They decided to confess everything to John. To their surprise, John took the news calmly. He confessed that he had been feeling lonely in his relationship with Emily lately, since she was constantly spending time with his sister. John was even glad that Emily had found someone she had so much in common with. They decided to part as friends with no hard feelings. Soon, John and Emma also realized that they had more than just family ties since childhood. After so many years of enmity, they finally found love. So the two couples, 4 friends, found their happiness. It would seem that treason and betrayal should have separated them. But in the end, it was through trials that they were able to discover their true feelings. A year later, Emily and Sean had a daughter, Sophia. And 6 months later, Emma and John were married. Now they were united not only by blood, but also by love. They often gathered in a large company, 2 sisters by fate, with their favorite men and a little niece. When Sophia was 5 years old, a tragic event happened in their lives. Sean died in a car accident. Emily was in despair. It seemed to her that life had lost its meaning without a loved one. But next to her were always John and Emma, supporting his siblings. They helped to raise Sophia, and little by little, Emily was able to get out of depression. She decided to devote her life to her daughter and her beloved job as an elementary school teacher. When Sophia turned 18 years old, Emily introduced her to her new boyfriend, a colleague, Jake. They developed a liking at first sight. Sophia gave her mom's blessing for a new marriage to a man who could clearly replace her father. A year later, Emily married Jake. John and Emma attended the wedding. Along with their children, they now had 3. Sophia gave a touching toast to her mom and her courage to open up to love again. Looking at each other's families, Emily and Emma felt a deep gratitude to fate for that turn many years ago when their paths crossed with their brothers. It was thanks to those events that they found true female happiness, love, family, children, and the support of relatives for the rest of their lives. A few years after Emily and Jake's wedding, the relationships in their extended family soured. Emma began to notice changes in John's behavior. He began to stay late at work often, spending a lot of time on business trips. One day, Emma decided to surprise her husband and came to his office unannounced. When she entered the office, she found John in the arms of his young secretary. Emma was shocked and angry. She gave her husband a scandal in front of everyone and went to Emily to complain about his cheating. Much to Emma's surprise, Emily did not condemn John. "Talk to him calmly. Maybe it's just a crush on the side," Emily advised. "Men are like that. They need new emotions as the years go by." "But that doesn't mean he's fallen out of love with you." Emma was shocked by her sister's stance. "How can you justify that?" "It's a betrayal," to which Emily only smiled mysteriously. "Believe me, I know what I'm talking about." Later, Emma happened to catch Emily and Jake talking. It turned out that they were also having a crisis in their relationship because of Jake's cheating. But Emily was willing to forgive him for the sake of keeping the family together. Emma was horrified by such family values. She broke up with John and moved to another city, stopping communication with Emily, whose cynicism was disgusting to her. Years later, the sisters met by chance on the streets of their hometown. Each of them seemed still happily married, although there had been many trials during that time. They realized that each had different ideas about fidelity and forgiveness. Most importantly, they still loved their husbands and were willing to fight for that relationship. Emily and Emma embraced like old times. Their differences faded into the past in the face of the sisterly bond that had bound them together for years. They believed that this bond would overcome any trials of fate. Dear viewers, if you liked this video, to like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.